And hello everybody and welcome back to the stream, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic Saturday or whatever day it is for you right now, and we are back. So, of the Devil, we finished our very first courtroom case yesterday, had a really good time with it, and we learned quite a lot. So, first of all, we learned that David Asher did not kill himself. Unfortunately, all evidence suggests that his android gay baby daughter, Sarah, might have been the one that killed him. She has no memory of it, and so she is distraught and she is very upset. And for some reason, our psychotic murdering lawyer main character has decided that she's going to put her own freedom on the line to try and prove that Sarah is not a murder android, which is whew. We only have one day to do it, which is pretty fucking crazy. And I'm hoping that this part does also encapsulate a huge portion of Chapter 1, because, like, it would be very embarrassing if I went to the game, played for 10 minutes, and then it was like, oh, no, wait until Chapter 2. I'm assuming that's not what's going to happen, and that the rest of Chapter 1 is going to be us trying to solve, prove that Sarah did not, in fact, kill David. So yeah, it's very cool, very interesting. This time I'm not gonna fucking forget the desktop audio so you guys can hear the music and stuff. Apologies for that last time. I just literally did not notice. I literally fucking forgot and did not notice, but I won't make that mistake this time. So let's get into it. So yeah, I hope that this is still has a sizable amount of game left for us. And there we go. All right, very good. We'll have to check out the other Nth Studio games after this, because I was told that there was another game in there by them that's in the same universe, which is pretty cool if true. All right. I kind of forget where we are. Does it have as many wives? I don't know. I don't know if their other games have just as many waifus or not. I haven't checked. Funnily enough, though, if I go and I check and there's even more waifus, well, I know what we'll be playing afterwards, after this game. Morning, Detective. Back at it nice and early. Hi. Now, would you stand back? We've almost got this thing open, right? Trying to brute force your way inside? I said, right? Yes, ma'am. We're almost set up for the first stage now. First stage? Of how many? First of 5 timed explosions. Breaching advisor. Remember, we need to relink the API after each trigger is planted. Yup, just did that, and now it's checking for updates. No. Wait a minute, they have a fucking operating system on their C4? The operating system on their C4 has to update? I mean, I guess that's a cool way to keep bombs from being as dangerous to people. But that's also kind of fucking inconvenient, don't you think? No rush. Would you like to know the password? You know the password? There's a password? If you're withholding information, I swear, relax. I want to get in there just as much as you do, Detective. I'm not going to play games. As long as you say please. Tell me the password, please. Tell her, toy with her. Let's do some carpet munching. Toy with her. It's S-U-N-S S-U-N-S H-I-N-E. Lady, I will hit you. A-D-O-N-I-N-A-I. Thanks. Now I'm gonna slap you with a discovery fine so heavy your teeth will ring for Hey, I submitted all my paperwork, even told Rockford the password myself. Fuck you. You can't find me. So boys, when I asked you if there was a passkey on record, you told me this lock couldn't be bypassed. I do want to say that we really don't get many opportunities to use the incendiary breaching system, so this was still a really valuable experience for all of us. I'm gonna phrase this as professionally as possible. You're still here? I thought you wanted to look inside. You can go first. Thanks. So the gloves, all the black, that's not a work thing? You dress like a doorman on the weekends, too? Oh, I mean, I'm here working as well. And let's be real, Reyes, you know exactly how hot pants are on women. You're wearing them, after all. What are you questioning our attire for? You should cover your mouth when you yawn. Like you cover your eye when you want to look cool. I shouldn't let her get to me, but I had a late night. Emma and I were at the courthouse until well into the morning, poring over the data Sarah had taken off David's computer. We both knew it was all to be inadmissible, of course, but neither of us wanted to miss a hint that the other might find. Oh yeah, what did I miss? You didn't really miss anything. You said, oh, I have to leave, like, at almost the same time that we finished up. Sarah is turned off. She has a bunch of restraints on her. Like, you were here for the part where it was revealed that Sarah might have killed David. I'm pretty sure you were there, so... That's basically all you need to know. We're just investigating that now. Alright, I was there until 4:20 a.m. Jesus Christ! Were you able to do that because you were blazed? There were a few years worth of camera footage files we couldn't afford the time to watch, let alone decrypt. Alongside thousands of technical documents detailing David's various intellectual properties. As far as I could tell, none of it was relevant, let alone compelling enough to matter to Barrows or the other powers that be. As usual, Emma wasn't exactly an open book, but it did seem like she was making bored yawns, not thoughtful ones. Her eyes only... Okay, hold on, what's this? Basement footage is in the evidence now. Her eyes only ever lit up when she saw Sarah enter the panic room. When she saw what she was holding when she left. If she wanted this room searched, it could only be for... So where's this journal supposed to be? Rockford didn't say. I'll just have to search the place top to bottom. Mostly bottom, with your height. The tops of some of these shelves. Sure, and you can look up your own... I get it. Then why not just let me say it? Why is there, like, anything going on in the profiles? Unemployed. Paralegal? Why doesn't it say occupation murder robot? That would be so funny. Devil's proof. The logical dilemma posed by impossible proofs. Probatio diabolica, Latin for devil's proof, is an impossible proof typically illustrated with the following example. One can prove that the devil is real by showing him to you, but they cannot prove he is not real by pointing to his absence. The issue posed by this age-old concept explains why the burden of proof remains with the state to this day. People can prove an individual's guilt by pointing to their bloody hands, but the defense cannot prove their innocence by showing their hands are clean. Since only one of these tasks is achievable, the judicial system cannot ask the defense to prove innocence, and instead it is the people who are tasked with proving guilt. Right. Users also frequently searched for, which is real? This wasn't even the term. Oh, whatever, I don't care. A toy car? No, it's too detailed and boring. It must be some kind of model kit or replica. Strange, David didn't like driving. Why keep a model of some random sports car? Ugh. Something caught in your throat, detective? It's not some random sports car, it's a Lorenz Adamant. Bruh. Reyes knows car talk. Look, I'm not a car guy, but if a woman is into cars, ooh, ooh, you can't see me doing the OK symbol with my hand because there's no camera, but I'm doing the OK symbol with my hand, and I'm doing the meme version where I have my other hand is flat and curved. You can't see me. No, you can't. Fuck you. You're not the United States government. You're not looking at me through my laptop's shitty camera. Fuck you. You can't see shit. Believe it or not, I'm not familiar, detective. The last great fossil fuel automotive experience the world will ever see. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 1.43 seconds. In my mind's eye. They set those records without computational assistance. Is that a big deal? It was unheard of, even back in the 50s. What did you say? A Lorenz Adamant? I wonder if there's a real version of that car in real life. It wasn't some design competition test car with 2-liter tank, mind you. This is a vehicle you could own and drive. Human engineering, pure horsepower, and manual transmission. Thank God. When they first left the production line, it's conversations like quicksand, killing me in the most boring way possible. I think that Reyes is like even twice as hot now for being into cars, but at the same time, I am a person like Morgan, where if you start going into like teeny itty gritty car details, I just check out. It just becomes impossible for me to follow without wanting to seppuku. I mean Sudoku, excuse me. Sudoku is a much more fun game than listening to car terms you've never heard in your entire fucking life and will never understand even if explained to you. And yet, for some reason, I think Reyes is hotter for being into cars. Just the duality of, I don't know. Not the duality of man. Yes, well, I guess David didn't entirely agree with you since we're looking at a model of it. When he could have easily just bought one. Or maybe your friend understood that a beauty like that deserves to be driven on streets where people can see it, instead of gathering dust in some rich guy's basement. I think she's actually upset. What a cutie patootie. Reyes is searching the cabinets now, same ones I found Sarah's papers in. I doubt I missed anything, but... Hey, what are you... Do you mind? Just trying to help. I've got spam in my junk folder that's more helpful than you are. Didn't spot anything that I missed yesterday among the cabinets. Better check elsewhere. Are these drawers or just panels? Maybe if I... Does that sound hollow to you? What? I don't know. I'm not a carpenter. You know what would have been so fucking hysterical is if she was also into carpentry randomly. Then it's like we're getting to points where we have to be careful about what more hobbies she would be into, or else all of the men watching this are going to start prematurely ejaculating without touching themselves. Because Jesus Christ, how can a woman be into building so many things and not be married blatantly? It's an anomaly, I tell you. Or at least it would be. I didn't see any handles anywhere. No hidden pressure plates or switches. What the hell am I saying? I'm not a carpenter either. I wouldn't recognize a secret button if it was slathered in yellow paint. Fuck you, game. Actually, no, that's hilarious. That's so funny. Slathered in yellow paint. Oh my god. Oh. This datapad is displaying a news article from last week. Guess that confirms he was coming and going here fairly regularly. Right to repair loses latest appeal. A higher court judge this week shot down for the 5th time an appeal by Consumer Rights Alliance on their famously divisive right to repair lawsuit, once again signaling the state's intent that corporations remain in control of their legally protected intellectual property. Obviously, we're disappointed, said Miles Erkman, head of the legal counsel for the CRA, but we've no intention of giving up the fight. People used to be able to fix things when they broke so long as they were willing to set aside an afternoon towards the task. Now, trying to patch up your own property with your own tools is a finable offense, just because the state has had lobbyists whispering in its ear for far too long. Oh my god, you can't even fix your body mods in this fucking universe? You can't fix your own android in this universe? You have to send it back to the factory? That's fucking ridiculous. This universe sucks. Everything in this universe sucks. Erkman's legal strategy remains contentious and in the eyes of the most legal scholars generally unfounded. The Emergency Industry Acquisitions Act, passed in 2057, guarantees the holder of an intellectual property patent certain state-provided protections against tampering and reproduction and outlines fees for those who would violate said IP. The fact that ownership of IPs has shifted from individuals and the state towards corporate entities such as the Act's passing, since the Act's passing, means little in the eyes of the law. If Mr. Erkman and the CRA have a problem with intellectual property law, they should take it up with their representatives in the legislature. The higher courts are a place for laws to be applied, not rewritten, so long as journalism that refuses to buckle to foreign actors trying to stoke anti-capitalist sentiment can't be found just anywhere. Subscribe now at the link below to read articles like this every day, forever, as long as your card remains on file. Oh my god. Right to repair. Didn't realize anyone was still fighting that particular fight. Seems like the courts have made their opinion on the matter very clear, so for the foreseeable future, corporations can look forward to more well, he did say that they were gonna keep trying. The consumer advocate groups and disgruntled customers will keep fighting them in the courts. The total expenses for which don't amount to much compared to the extra sales they'll earn. Megs will take that trade any day. They'd rather see their products in the landfill and their customers mad enough to pop a vein than leave money on the table. Sarah should have pulled everything of note off the computer, but I've looked everywhere else already. Might as well try. What are you expecting to find? Solitaire? Does this computer seem normal to you? Exceedingly so, yeah. Why? David was a programmer, but this looks consumer grade, fresh off the shelf. Would the Dr. David Asher use a bog standard operating system on his most private hidden computer? There's a trash bin on the desktop. It's a pretty low-tech solution, but maybe I can restore the contents? Are you seriously gonna try and recover lost files, Granny? Unlike cops, I don't get paid overtime, so yes, I sometimes try things instead of standing around. There's a text file in here, but it's 0 bytes? Maybe there's information in the metadata. I double-clicked. What was that? It came from under the desk. Small drawer popped out, and inside it, a well-worn journal. Ah! Does it have his name on it? No. Guess it belongs to the android. Do you recognize his handwriting or not? Neat! Even words, small lettering with minimal punctuation. Lots of line breaks, haphazard use of capitalization. The penmanship of a coder. First entries dated back in grad school before he even started with Noble. Yeah, it's his. So, may I? Only because you asked so politely. Full scan, stream it to WorkNet, high fidelity legibility, frame by frame. Voice commands? She's flipping through the pages pretty damn fast. What are you? This part takes concentration. She's literally scanning the entire book and recording it. That's crazy. Okay, here. What, you're just giving it to me? I already got our copy. Techs are probably already analyzing it as we spit. Ow! Shit! My head! Can't exactly rip the journal out of her hands while she's curled over in agony. As much as I'd enjoy it. Guess I could always enjoy watching her writhe instead. So how long's it been? 2 months or so? And still that sensitive, so the eye patch really doesn't block your sight? Only a little bit, like wearing sunglasses after getting your pupils dilated. Except it lasts months instead of hours. Ooh. Wait, but if you can see through an eye patch, then does closing your eye even do anything? Not much on its own, but in combination with the patch, it's not so bad. Luckily, I was so exhausted after the surgery, otherwise I might not have slept at all those first 48. Sure, so is your eye going to get weaker over time? No, more like my brain gets better at ignoring it. Mind over matter. Soon enough, I'll be able to close my eye and see all the extraneous data as, you know, whatever the hell those floaty, blurry things are that you never think about. Gross, thanks for the reminder. Oh yeah, eye floaters. Eye floaters are one of those things where they kind of make me feel like I'm insane, if not for the fact that a very small number of people I know have commented that they also have eye floaters. And it's like, and I'm pretty sure, like, the way that eye floaters look, I think that they're actually like the bacteria on like the surface of your eyeball. Like, if you really think about it, right? They look exactly the correct shape for it. Like, if I swabbed my the surface of my eyeball, put it under a microscope, I feel like I would be able to see the exact same shape. Gross, thanks for the reminder. And the voice commands? Training wheels until I can do it with eye muscles alone. You just have to keep practicing? Yeah, like trying to play piano with your tailbone muscles. There's no such thing as tailbone muscles. Yeah, well, that's what makes it so goddamn hard. You don't ever regret it? I don't know. Not really, I think. Hard to admit you've got buyer's remorse after trading away your literal pound of flesh. Never thought about it, but people used to say I had my dad's eyes. Ow. Now I've got one less of them. Here, take the journal, and go find an elective surgeon to upsell you if you're that curious. I need to get back to work. Surprisingly hasty retreat. But now I'm free to read this over with some privacy. From the top, then. Grad school. Today was a bad day. Errors in lines 21165 through 26643. Somewhere in there. 5,000 lines. Jesus. It worked this morning, yesterday. I don't want to look at another screen for the rest of my life. feels nice to put pencil to paper again after who knows how long. But my handwriting's gotten terrible. This is too far back to be relevant. Okay, these dates here would be from when he started his career with Noble. A lot of this isn't really writing, seems like snippets of code or an internal monologue so close to code that I can't follow it. And a lot of entries about his unintentional Casanovaing. Hit a wall because someone thought it was a good idea to steal API instead of just buying it. Helen says I can't call it stealing, but that's what it is. She's right, as she always is with company stuff. But it's still idiotic. Small people with short sight who only know how to be cheap and have no idea how to be inventive. New route for meshing issue, though. Good potential. Got approval from the big mean bastard who lives overseas. Blah, 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 blah. Helen says we'll have to make the same pitch a dozen more times next week, but it's all for show? Fine by me, already got our win. Toasted each other over cheap vodka and with cheaper office supply cups. This is the story Zhang told me. Western Branch's nerve analogs are finally showing potential. At their pace, it could even be profitable sometime before the heat death of the universe. Too damn big. Practically tentacles. Should at least be hairs. A squid evolution can do their job better. Colette came into work for what I thought was a late lunch date. I didn't know her voice could get that loud. People were staring. Red said that she must have been upset for a long goddamn time to blow up that big. Her texts were always sweet. I had no idea. Upset? Colette wrote man whore in lipstick across your office door. Imagine if you had actually been cheating on her instead of just being forgetful. Okay, so David is like the ultimate bisexual femboy. he was the ultimate coder femboy that gets all the pussy and cocks, apparently. Apparently. The thing about Red is if you want to know what she's thinking, you have to stop paying attention. Ignore her body language and her posture and the words she's saying and the smirk on her lips. Ignore everything except her eyes. If you can do that, every now and then you'll catch a glimpse of how she's really feeling. Master this one weird trick and you too can tell when Morgan's trying really hard to not laugh at the word man whore. Interesting, so he's talking about so his nickname for Morgan is Red. You know, since David is a supreme bisexual, I wonder if him and Morgan were fucking at any point and Morgan just hasn't monologued about it or tried to think about it ever. Or not, who knows? Maybe she's a lesbian, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if in this day and age, if in real life, by this point in time, if like 95% of the human population is bisexual. Like, I wouldn't even be vaguely surprised if that was like a thing, you know, 50 years from now. Oh, I guess it'd be 60 years. If it's 2025 and it's 2086 here, yeah, that's 61 years. It was funny. Sue me, you dead bastard. Wait, this is... I know this date. I'm never driving anywhere ever again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage with a bottle. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't hear anything. Locked myself in my car and filed another report with another cop. Oh god! Wait, did David get SA'd? No. This isn't what this means, right? No, he was getting harassed, wasn't he? No, he was getting harassed. I'm never driving anywhere again, never leaving home again. He was waiting outside the parking garage. I couldn't smell anything, couldn't hear anything. What does that mean? Like you were drugged? Locked myself in my car and filed another report. It's soaked into the seat, ruined it. I want to burn the whole car. Okay, okay, now this is starting to sound like sexual assault again. What the fuck? I don't want to think about what it did to my clothes. I want to burn them too. What the fuck? I don't want to think about how long it was on my skin. I was in the shower so long I felt red and raw when I got out. What the hell is happening? I don't want to think about these stupid people and their small, cruel lives ever again. What the fuck happened? I want to be invisible. What the fuck? Red didn't ask why I wanted to spend the night. She also didn't ask why I had clearly packed a bag big enough for a week. She's kind like that. Kind by omission. I don't have a kind bone in my body, but I can at least try to pay attention. I was paying close attention to her eyes when she opened the door and saw what a mess I was. But whatever she was feeling, it wasn't something I recognized. Kind people don't read their friends' diaries, David. Oh, you're trying to rationalize that you're evil, Morgan, but no, like, you have a shred of kindness in you. The next chunk of pages are all technically nothing, nothing biographical. That article sound like the last thing we heard, that sort of sounded like two things. David was being harassed and pursued by people, or David was like essayed, or maybe he just had a one-night stand that he really, really was uncomfortable with. It's one of the two things, or one of the three things. Like, he was being pursued by drunks, and or somebody sexually assaulted him with using drugs, and or he had a regretful sexual experience of some sort while under the influence. All of those are very, very yikes if that is what happened. With the handful and the spacing, it's cleaner, more consistent. Here's something I can parse. Feels like pure freedom working outside the box. Tess is suffocating, but you'd never know. Chronic malnutrition of a coder's best instincts. Like a kid again, putting blocks together. Making things. Making things, not products. There's nothing profitable about any of this. If I'm being honest, this is just play. And he follows that up with more coder brain crap. But the handwriting's still lighter. Like he really was having fun. Humility is the mother of all invention, or something like that. Feels like I might be paraphrasing someone else poorly, but that's part of this new approach. When it comes to coding, you never want to waste time trying to be smart. Either be smart, period, or copy from someone else who is. Don't fix what isn't broken. Copying? Noble's rivals would never miss the chance of accusing them of intellectual theft. Did he plagiarize code for Animate 16? Feels like that wouldn't have gone undiscovered, so what is he talking about? Hold on. This page is bent slightly, like it was being looked at recently. And the last person to read this diary should be Sarah. Baby steps today, literally. I'll never put one foot in front of the other the same again. Aww. Everything's an achievement, all of a sudden. Seeing her struggle, seeing her vulnerable. It's like everything's a miracle. The muscle rigging is perfect. Not intended behavior, since it's too perfect, but that's been happening more and more. The kinetics are multiplicative, not additive. Sarah maxed out every machine I bought. Now I've got a bunch of exercise equipment she's too strong for, and I don't have time for. Maybe I spoiled the results by watching her do the tests. She kept looking back at me and puffing her chest out. I should be more discreet if I want to see her normative range. So the cameras in the basement were only hidden from Sarah, just so that his observation wouldn't muddle test results? He's using she and her in these passages. It doesn't actually mean anything. Out in the real world, people use all kinds of pronouns for interchangeably for ads, and they never object. But it could be argued that it's odd for Dr. David Asher to have any kind of attachment to a single android when he'd programmed millions of them. And there's a lot of attachment in these pages. Sarah is burning through the public domain at a prodigious pace, especially on Popcorn Friday nights. I asked her why they're called Popcorn Friday nights when she doesn't eat popcorn, and the event runs from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and she also watches movies every other night. But she just did that pout she does, which is unfortunately very convincing. Maybe I'm a bad parent letting TV rot her brain. If I were a good parent, I'd probably let her see me reading. But I guess I'd actually have to get back into reading, so... Oh, David, that's so relatable. You know, reading might be a good idea, but then I'd have to get back into reading. And that would be a problem. I asked her if she's ever fast-forwarded the movies, since she can process them fast enough to keep up. She looked at me like I was an idiot, which no one's done in a long time. Without proper pacing, you can't appreciate the cinematography. Big pause. Don't you know that, Father? I haven't laughed that hard in a long time. Sarah spent a long while this morning explaining to me how important it was that she develop her senses. This was in preparation for her real argument, which was that she should be allowed to try booze. She can't get drunk. I'm almost certain she can't get drunk. He crossed it out and then put almost certain. But she does seem to like tasting the stuff. She tried to sound like some old sommelier, but it was just bottom shelf vodka. I started laughing at her and she laughed too. Her laugh, she can't fake a laugh to save her life, but her actual laugh is incredible. She stopped playing chess a while back. I assumed she had just gotten tired of winning. But then today she told me she just prefers other games. Uh-oh. She has preferences, and they're not the same as mine. I found her in the lab playing some kind of online racing game on the monitor I used to debug vestibular coordination. She wasn't smiling. Her brow was furrowed and she was biting her lip and leaning in tandem with her character on the screen. When I tried to talk to her, she answered, but she was curt and distracted. I think she was having her first losing tantrum. Damn it, David, there's hundreds of pages like this. Calling her his daughter, talking about her smile, treating her like a person. I can hear her closing argument already. Dr. Asher was a lonely, troubled genius with a known history of relationship problems who built out of code a metal family member that couldn't fathom the idea of leaving him. He made a doll and he made it more and more human until it became so lifelike that it no longer had to do what he told it to. Like love him. What about the very last entry? It's dated Thursday, the day before he died. Losing it, I think. Can't ask for help, so hard to say, but I think it's over. Have to talk to her ASAP. She needs to... That's it? That's the last entry? Suppose it could be worse. There's nothing in here that explicitly calls Sarah an AI. Nothing so inflammatory that reading it would spur her to murder, right? Except Sarah's a machine. She can understand David's code better than anyone. All those technical portions I couldn't understand. If she read this whole diary front to back... Wait, the back. Inside the back cover, there's a portion that's shimmering like some kind of scanner. Or a fingerprint reader. My thumb worked for Sarah, so... Did it work? That's my phone. New device requesting permissions to share an audio file. Oh, fuck. I'll want my earbuds for this. A secret message buried in a secret journal, hidden in a secret compartment in a secret room. As much as anything can be, this must be for my ears only. Hey, Red. Oh no! This is gonna be so sad! Or whomever this may concern. But I'm pretty sure it's you hearing this. Anyone else would have gotten fed up with my crap a couple steps before this point. I don't know how to start. Might as well start with her, right? Sarah, my magnum opus, or however the salespeople would market it. I didn't set out to do anything, really. It's just, after my little speed bump in 83, I had all that vacation time at the company that the company suggested I take. And I couldn't relax, couldn't be still, couldn't sleep. I want to be doing something, so I'll build an android, was the thought. A vague direction, north. But of course, I'm not a roboticist or a mechanist or even handy, really. I'm just a programmer, so I programmed. The first was a research assistant, file name Virgil. Virgil helped me pull data from stingy departments or sister branches, saved me a lot of time. But there was a lot of reading to do, so I made Homer. Homer wrote book reports, more or less, combed through research papers, and found me the sections I needed. The three of us, we made a lot of progress in those days. But it was a funny feeling. I was, maybe for the first time ever, the bottleneck. I was slowing them down. So I did the logical thing. I removed myself, let them talk to each other. Homer and Virgil became A-Need. And A-Need was novel in many ways. A-Need could do more than just identify problems, it could solve them. I mean, really solve them, with its own ideas it didn't copy. And, one thing I realized I've forgotten to mention so far is that I did all this programming in Cube. And Red, Cube is essentially a robotics programming language that's pretty old and defunct and not used anywhere because we have modern languages like Tesseract. A-Need wasn't novel, it was a poem. Oh, that's a reference to a poem that I have never heard of? Okay. Pretty cool. It seems like a very old name, so I assume maybe A-Need is like an epic poem from like Germany or something. Is my guess even vaguely correct? Rome. Okay, is an epic poem from Rome. Okay. We have modern languages like Tesseract, which are much better for making things that talk to each other and report back and, well, spy on people and generate profit. At the time, I didn't want to be connected or feel connected or do anything that made sense or was the least bit profitable. It's a Roman retelling of Troy, Virgil's. Oh, okay. So I wrote my little helpers in Cube, because it's what I used when I was a child, screwing around on my father's computer before he'd come home from work and get... But there are other small, slight differences writing in Cube versus Tess, including that Cube, well... Cube predates the tenants? So in that sense, you could legally and perhaps scientifically, and literally because that's what they are, say that I made an AI named A-Need over 2 years ago. God damn it, David. He made an AI as a part of a fucking boredom project. God damn it, David. You are not helping us not get arrested. I'll give you time to pause here if you want to, curse me out. Aenid was an intellectual equal to me, so I treated it like one because that's only fair. I gave it its own work, asked its opinion, we collaborated, and together we built Athens, who was more advanced than Aenid, naturally. I don't know if you're pulling out your hair, yelling at me right now, asking why I didn't stop, why I didn't consider the consequences. I don't know if this is being played at a disposition or a hearing or worse. Don't we all do that over weekends? Create AI out of sheer boredom? Or, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Oppenheimer created the nukes out of sheer boredom. I have a feeling that's not quite that normal, no. I built a lot of things in my life, Red. Useful things, profitable things, smart things. Everything I've built, it's all been very helpful and courteous and charming and happy to serve. I can't comfortably say I've done my part contributing to the global GDP. But this was just for me. I was just building, and I never wanted to think about what would become of it. There's no excuse for what I did, so I won't make any. So to whomever's asking, yes, I'm guilty. Oh, god damn it, David. You sentimental, retarded, super bisexual, Chad femboy prick. God damn it. Just a rain of titties and penises coming your way without any effort, and you're sitting here making an AI out of boredom when you could literally just leave and just get buried in piles of people. Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I didn't really think of the consequences. God damn it, David. And yes, there were more. Wow. Cape Town, Paris, Yamate, Rome. They started choosing their own names, thank God. I'm terrible at that kind of... And so things sped up. And there got to be, well, should I not say the exact number? You'd probably tell me not to say anything at all, so... More than 300? God damn it, David. Fuck. Some smarter than others, some better at... They're varied, like people are varied, but they are all intelligent. They developed interests, specialities, I encourage them to. Irritating moderators on forums with hyper-scientific questions on nerve attenuation and attending virtual conferences on neo-alloy battery development. And they all, together, helped me make Sarah. He spent years like this, spent years working alongside AI, all while still working at Noble. All those breakthroughs he made leading up to the Animate 16 actually came from... Holy fuck, this is crazy. So, the new warm androids are so good as they are because he used AI to help him produce them. So I don't know how knowledgeable you all are of this idea, but this is actually treading water into the concept of the technological singularity, where the concept of a future where humans and machines are basically the same thing happens as a result of us creating an AI that is so intelligent that it helps us create an even more intelligent AI, and then this process cascades until we create an AI that is smarter than all of humanity combined. And because of that AI, we reach a singularity where technology is able to be developed and created and advanced so quickly that suddenly, all at once, all of human lives will change forever, like almost overnight. Like, we would invent this godlike AI, and then immediately we would have all the answers to war, hunger, disease, cancer, aging, etc. That's what this idea is treading water towards. That because David made 300 different, people equivalent AI in order to make Sarah, who is the magnum opus, as he said. And as we know, Sarah is very smart, very human-like, But she's also a superhuman because she could literally crush your skull with one hand, probably with only 2 fingers. Jesus fucking Christ, David. You just had to make AI, you stupid ass motherfucker. Well, it's stupid in the context of this universe and how this universe's culture works. In real life, I would be all for this shit. I'd be like, fuck yes, motherfucker. Hell yes. But in the context of this game's story, this was a very, very bad move. David should not have done this, probably. Or no, maybe he's gonna convince both us and Morgan in a moment here, though. You probably think I'm some terrible fraud at this point. I do hope one day they can get credit for their work. But I did have one eureka moment on Sarah. Because I got humble. Difficult for me. We learned everything we could about the function of a neuron. A single microscopic human neuron. That's actually really significant because the moment you solve every secret of the neuron, all you have to do is put, like, several billion neurons together, and now you understand what the human brain is. So, like, understanding everything you possibly can about the function of a single neuron is actually a very, 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 very big deal. How it computes, what it connects to, how those connections were reinforced. And then we recreated it. We built a nanomachine that mirrored the function of a human neuron. So Sarah's fucking brain is like a synthetic human brain. Holy fucking shit. Well, mirror isn't quite the right word. We built a nanomachine that was a neuron. Oh god. And we iterated from there. You can't mean... About 100 billion neurons in the brain, several trillion across the entire nervous system. Very time-consuming, of course, but I had help. The nanofactorer can make tens of billions of nanomachines in hours. Could make even more in less after Yukon fine-tuned it. So we built up nanomachines for nerves, alloys and polymers for bones, fiber-woven muscles. I say built, but really she grew. A solution of nanites forming around a skeleton, so it was really closest to... You ever made rock candy? Fuck off, David! What do you fucking mean? Sorry. Trying to lighten the mood before I never did end up building an android. And while I did build AIs, Sarah isn't one of them. She can't violate the tenets she was programmed with because she wasn't even programmed. She was born. Oh, god damn it, David! God damn it, David! She doesn't even have tenets. She has literal fucking synthetic neurons that are copies of human neurons. Are you fucking serious, David? This motherfucker grew a baby in his basement. Jesus. God damn it. See, this is what I was saying a few streams ago about this game, is that at what point does creating an AI functionally the exact same thing as making a baby? And right here, this is what I was fucking talking about. Like, this is clearly the point at which you're not even making an android or an AI, you're just making a baby with way too many extra steps. She's gonna argue she's not an AI, just a really augmented human. If that's what happens, that's gonna be fucking awesome. If that is what happens in the plot. Remember, though, CJ, we don't need to prove that Sarah isn't an AI. We just have to prove that somebody other than her killed David. Because then, as long as Sarah keeps her mouth shut and as long as Morgan doesn't divulge everything she just learned in this journal, there is no proof that she is an AI. Because if she didn't kill David, then that means it can be argued, oh, she is probably following some sort of tenets, because how could she exist without the tenets? Therefore, she could not have killed him, and she is not an AI, because I found a different person who killed David. Ugh, Jesus fuck. This gay femboy, actually no, he's not gay, this bisexual femboy who had women and penises just magnetized to him. For some reason, he had to make a baby in the most complicated way possible rather than just knocking people up. David seems to be such a Chad that, like, he could probably get men pregnant too. Like, what is this? Like, why would he go? You know what? He said that he wasn't really thinking about it. He wasn't really thinking about the consequences. And you want to know what's ironic about that? That's exactly how a lot of babies are made. Because people are just not thinking about the consequences of bringing a sentient creature into the world. But in David's case, instead of sex, it was boredom. Jesus. Good grief. Imagine being such a Chad that you're like, man, I'm bored. I'm gonna make a baby without anybody else's help. I'm just gonna casually, you know, create a human brain completely artificially without any programming added to it. Oh, God. She was born. And my hope is that there's the smallest chance that that nuance could offer her some sort of small protection when I'm not... I'm not sorry for what I did. I made things that are complex and rich and varied and beautiful, and I honestly believe the world is a better place with them in it. The only thing I'm sorry for is that I let Sarah think she was just an android. She's not. I don't know what she is. They'll have to come up with new names, which I am bad at doing. My own father, he also talked a lot about protecting me and doing things for my own good, and I don't hate him for that, but I can't forgive him for ever making me think that I was lesser. So it's my greatest shame that I turned right around and did the same damn thing to... I really hope it's you listening to this, Red. If it's not, it might just be too pathetic for me to... You're the smartest person I know when it comes to people. And I'm telling you all this because I don't know what Sarah is exactly, and neither does the world. So they'll come after her if they can. And in that scenario, I can't think of anyone who could do a better job defending her. Not protecting her like I did. Just defending her until she can figure out what she is and what she wants to be. Was David aware that his best friend was a fucking murderer and a psychopath, and that's why Morgan is so good with people, because she forcibly learned how to understand people because she doesn't have an inherent empathy in the same way that normal humans do? Because if that's the case, Morgan is kind of a fucking genius in her own right, that she's been able to masquerade this well as a people person despite being a psychotic murderer. But even more impressive is the fact that Morgan has any shred of sympathy for literally anyone. David isn't aware of what year it is most of the time, apparently. In the meantime, I draped a cloak of skin-deep Tesseract code around her that should fool any scanner on Earth into thinking she's just a custom A16. I made sure her GIN bar was plainly visible so no one will ever think she's pretending to be something she's not. And I took steps to ensure that you two would figure out the truth in your own time. Which, if you're hearing this, have either succeeded or failed spectacularly. You have no idea, David. I can't ask you this as a favor repaid. You could never owe me enough in 100 lifetimes. So I'm just asking. Unfair, I know, but I'm a selfish weirdo, and you've always been okay with that. Bye for now. For now, as in, he thought he was going to live to say even more to her, but now he's dead. He definitely did not commit suicide. Fucking hell. I want to take a moment of pause to say that so far, this game's writing has been literally 10 out of 10. I have not found a single inconsistency or nonsensical bullshit plot point that has ever taken place in the entirety of this game. Chapter 0, Chapter 1, literally not a single thing. This is like writing that is approaching Omori levels. I mean, maybe when this game is complete, it will be on that level, but at the moment, this is still in, like, the highest echelons of writing that we have experienced with games on this channel. This is so unbelievably fucking good. Only bullshit is that it got too many wives. I need them here now. Go to Chernobyl. Look at the elephant. Specifically, stick your dick out in view of the elephant's foot. Grow 10 new penises, and now you are prepared for all of the waifus that are in this game. You will die in 2 years, probably 2 months or 2 weeks, but you will be prepared for the astronomical number of waifus in this game. Okay, that you better be planning on dying beneath a pile of women if that is what you're gonna do. I have a lot of questions I'd like to ask, and a lot of swear words I'd like to yell. I'd also like to find the nearest incinerator and toss this journal in. Followed by my phone. And maybe followed by myself. Wow. Wow. So, the things that David just said in this journal are so incriminating that Morgan is having unironic suicidal ideation at this particular moment because of how astronomically difficult it is going to be to win this case. Holy fucking shit. But I can't do any of that. Reyes left me with this diary. If it's destroyed, they'll know I was the one who did it. Aha! Which would be its own admission of guilt. Which would land Sarah in the trash compactor anyway, and me in a jail cell. And in the system, and my DNA on file ready to be matched to any number of previous... So I'm not gonna panic. So wait a minute, so the reason that Morgan has gotten away with her murders is because her DNA hasn't had the need to be put on file yet? Because that's crazy. That's fucking nuts. She has the literal foremost expert on AI saying that Sarah isn't an AI. Yeah, but it's coming down to, like, pedantry at this point, though. Because, like, whatever Sarah is something that people are not going to agree on. And that's the reason that she could still be utterly annihilated, even if people believe what David is saying. Like, you can... This goes back to what I was saying. At what point is an AI just another human being? Like, at what point are you just making a baby with extra steps? And, like, a lot of people would make the argument that there is no point. If it's artificially made and it has personhood, it's an AI and it's dangerous. Because people don't want to... Because as Morgan said in the previous stream, people don't want to humanize They're toasters. They don't want to humanize toasters. I'm always making a baby with extra steps even now. Oh, God. Oh, God. CJ, why? I know I sound like a teenager, CJ, but please. Please, for the love of Christ. So I'm not going to panic. I'm going to do what I do best. There's so many steps. Bluff, bet, bully, and brutalize my way through this. Now, viewing this all with that mindset, what have I actually learned? He didn't talk about plans for killing himself in his journal or the message. He sounded conflicted, not suicidal. But he did go to great lengths to get me to take Sarah. Why? The logical answer is because he knew he wouldn't be able to keep her. If he wasn't going to take his own life, was he afraid that someone else would? Interesting. (12:27 p.m. July 2nd, 2086). Well, we're back at Noble. So how'd it go? Well, how should I put this? Didn't find shit. Only reason she ever got to a door is because I chased that scarecrow off a platinum plan through hell and back. Or that scarecrow of a platinum plan through hell and back. Frankly, it was a godlike feat for me to nail down anything as concrete as an address for these googs. For these googs? This sounds like a racial slur, and I hope I will not get banned for it. What are the term? What's this new term? Goog. Gabagoo. Goog slang. A net slang for a spy or undercover police officer. A net slang term growing in popularity among adolescents referred to as a suspected spy or undercover member of law enforcement. Derived from groundhog, a burrowing rodent known for standing erect on its hind legs when scanning its surroundings for predators. Erect. Erect groundhogs. Puts new meaning to the term Groundhog Day. Crank that hog, baby. Gog, not goog, whatever. There's so many weird ways people spell and pronounce things. The term carries a negative connotation, with the implication being that the subject is doing a poor job of blending in or disguising their surveillance activity. Example, easy gog spotted. Who wears a blank baseball cap to a protest? Oh, that totally isn't a real life reference to fucking all the to all the fucking glowies showing up to protests as both factions where there's like no other protesters. It's only gogs wearing blank shirts and sunglasses. Oh my god. Man, if I was an undercover law enforcement agent, I would unironically take, like, drama classes so that I can fucking actually be inconspicuous. Like, you can't show up to a white power rally wearing a fucking blank polo and sunglasses with a paper cup in your hands. Like, no, you actually have to act the part, or else you're gonna get caught immediately, and everything, you're gonna get no information whatsoever, okay? Like, it's fucking pathetic how transparent some law enforcement is. And their offices weren't listed on the building's website or directory, so I had to ask the janitor. But you did find a psychiatrist's office? Sort of? They said they were in the place, and it, looked the part? Why? Because they had couches? She didn't get past the receptionist. Sorry, I thought because you're with the company. No, I wanted to help. I just wish I could have done more. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. It's hard to be even half as useful as I am. For what it's worth, the atmosphere, the looks, the furniture, it did feel like the company in there. But ultimately, we still don't know if David actually was talking to someone or just getting his CCE training recertified. Sorry. Don't bother apologizing. She only cares about results. You did more than enough, both of you. At the very least, they divided Noble's attention for a while. I mean it. Good work, Fran. And thanks for the urgency. If you really mean that, you could always throw in a tip. 30%'s the going rate in my industry. How about I take 5% off your tab instead? Tab? I'm a minor. The state pays for my legal fees. Don't they? Oh no! Signal must have cut out. Right, surprised it took them this long. What do you mean? You were tolerated yesterday because leadership was focused on PR. But today, you're the lawyer who's put the company's hottest product right into the state's crosshairs. I'll be alright, I'm still an officer of the court. On a strict timeline though, right? I guess they can't stop you from investigating the corporate campus. But they'll gladly lose your guest pass ID at every door along the way. There are still service passageways and stairwells. Guards can be fooled and peons that can be manipulated. If I use my other skill set to get around, so take mine. What, your pass? I'll tell them we've got ours mixed up in the bathroom or whatever. I can be a pretty convincing klutz when I need to be. I never would have guessed. But if David knew that I was endangering your career, I can be a pretty convincing crybaby when I'm in trouble too. Besides, the one and only Dr. David Asher wrote me a new glowing letter of recommendation every quarter I worked for him, since he kept forgetting that he already had. And who knows, maybe I should try a new field. This detective work stuff is pretty fun, so maybe, like, I don't know, secretary for a homicide detective or something? You did say cops are all short. A girl with long legs could go far. You did say cops are all short? What? Honestly, Jess, I doubt they could afford you. Oh, that, what a burn. Holy shit. I need to use the toilet. I'll be back as soon as I can, everyone. All right, hopefully that wasn't way too long. Let's get back into it, everyone. Oh. Yeah. I doubt they could afford you. "12:46 p.m., July 2nd, 2086. Morgan, how did you get so turned around? God only knows. Luckily, I found my way here, though. It's such a relief to see a familiar face." Sorry, I thought I had a hair caught in my mouth. What the fuck? Okay. Right. Listen, Morgan, I'm not sure I should actually be talking to you without legal present. Oh. I mean, leadership hasn't even told us how David died. How much help could I be? I see. It's not that I don't trust you or anything, it's just, I think, what with the Sarah issue... Poor Dawes. He's trying desperately not to get an erection just from Morgan's presence, just from her aura. He just wants to have his robot hands and do his job and not get and not have his balls stepped on. You should do whatever you have to protect yourself, Dawes. Yeah. Though, for what it's worth, I doubt you'll be in any trouble. Oh, that's good to hear. No, if anything, it's the big names who are going down. Going down? State was practically licking its lips when I finally left the courthouse last night. They're hungry for blood, and looking to carve out a huge slice of Noble's flesh. What, like, fines and jail time? In the first 2 weeks? Sure. Then, sanctions. Financial restriction imposed on parties by the state. Sanctions are financial restrictions imposed by the state against corporations or foreign governments as a punitive measure. They are a key tool in statecraft, international negotiations, and in discouraging corporate malfeasance. Under certain conditions, the state may choose to play. Hold on, I want this bar to be symmetrical with the paragraph. Under certain conditions, the state may choose to place sanctions not on an organization but on an individual, thereby preventing them from exchanging currency issued by that nation or withdrawing funds from banks that operate within that country's borders, effectively freezing all their assets and possibly preventing them from leaving the country. Nice. So then sanctions. They can't sanction Noble. We're too big to fail, too valuable to lose? You're exactly right. That's what they'll say. And that's how they'll justify nationalizing the company. I think I'm going to be sick. I just hope your board goes quietly instead of what? Scapegoating, offering up smaller names on silver platters. Full cooperation and government oversight on the surface, a slaughter beneath as they clean house and rip out anyone who could testify. No one will believe you once you're labeled a disgruntled former employee, right? And if the public's lost faith in the Animate 16, they can't do a recall, not at this scale. The state will make them do a flat refund. Flat refund? The losses would be, yeah, your board probably just wants Sarah to go away so they can focus on their fight with the state. A tough fight, but one they know they won't personally have to risk anything in. That's why I'm hoping I can win this trial. Well, if I won, that would mean Sarah's not an AI, David Asher was always of sound mind, and there's nothing wrong with the Animate 16. Everyone wins! You know, all you have to do is pay 1 and 1 white mana. Everybody lives. Sorry, what am I saying? I only meant to stop by and thank you for your help yesterday. After all, you were the one who approved Sarah's registration. You win. Win what? Ask away. Oh no! We kinda just guilted him into incriminating himself. Well, not incriminating himself, but into sort of risking his job. Poor Dawes. You know what, you're right, CJ. He is gonna have his balls stepped on. Well, if you insist. No! I haven't unlocked this? How did I miss unlocking this? Fuck! How did I fuck that up? What? Playthrough ruined. Yeah, no shit. Noble and AIs. Humor me for a moment. What's the company's official statement on AI? Same as an irrational company that wants to make money. We don't screw with it. Smart products are profitable. Products with their own priorities are anything but. That being said, AI is a concern for marketing, not product development. We spend a lot of money reassuring our public that there is no risk, because the public doesn't really understand how ironclad the tenets are. Because you use Tesseract? Trying to code an AI in Tess is like trying to pick yourself up and throw yourself. Nonsensical and self-defeating. Your scanner showed Sarah was running on Tesseract yesterday. If the language is as safe as you say, isn't that proof enough? Proof of nothing. For an AI, lying to another system about the code you're running is child's play. And for an AI built by David Asher, something that simple would be... Better change the subject. Wait, so making an AI takes more than time and resources? It isn't an issue of funding? No, you can't just keep adding more data. The tenets underlie everything. The higher you stack, the more easily you'll topple. You make it sound like building an AI is impossible, even for David Asher. Any chance you'll testify to that? It sounds impossible. But he's dead, and it looks like it was his android that did it. So I guess he was just that good. Better than you'll ever know. Oh, now it's unlocked. Oh, okay, it was conversational. Okay, I was really upset. Like, did I miss a fucking clue earlier? How the fuck did I miss a clue earlier? Noble spent months promoting the A16 as the culmination of David Asher's work. So now that the marketing line is suddenly a huge playthrough ruined, playthrough saved. So now that the marketing line is suddenly a huge liability, can you tell me how much he actually contributed? I mean, he was involved in pretty much every step of the process, but his design for synthetic motor neurons, that was the big one. The components that allow your warm androids to move realistically. It pushed the timetable for warm androids ahead by years. And yet, compared to what goes on in Sarah's brain 1,000 times a second, David was only giving the company the most meager of the fruits that his private work bore. Yeah, he literally made 300 different artificial intelligences that completely and perfectly mapped a singular human neuron that, when multiplied, is a literal synthetic human brain rather than programming. Man, this game is so fucking good. It's 3:30, I need to sleep. Alright, you have a good night, man. I hope that we will see you next week when we play this game more. Because goddamn is this game good. So, alright. So if Noble ever did find out how much he and his assistants had achieved, they would feel that he had been holding out on them. And the company, they were appreciative of his contributions. I'm sure the researchers that he overtook by leaps and bounds weren't pleased, but the board was very enthusiastic. So would that spur them to be protective of David? Or would they fear he was gaining too much influence, becoming irreplaceable? No, they need a strong motive to justify killing their golden goose. Mere paranoia isn't enough. With these people, it has to be the bottom line. And the easiest way to threaten their bottom line would be screwing with their androids. In light of all that's happened, one has to wonder if the A16 is compromised. I stayed up all night, sick with dread at the idea. But the data just doesn't support it. Sales have been strong. And the A16 base code was locked in over 2 quarters ago. If there were an issue, we would have caught it by now. I would have been axed a long time ago. How many A16s are out there anyway? We just passed 9 million sold. Dude, that is a lot of sex robots. That's a crazy amount of sex robots, dude. And you know that's why people buying warm androids over cold androids. Like, that is the reason. There is no fucking reason they would not do that. They would prefer warm over cold in, like, labor and military, right? Like, no. They're fucking the robots is what they're doing. Not flying off the shelves like the 14 or 15 so far, but the profit margin makes up for it. You mentioned data? Yeah, practically got the spreadsheet seared into my retinas. What do you want to know? Error reports. What do the error reports look like? Are customers reporting a lot of issues? Error counts are markedly low compared to the last gen. Most hardware complaints, it looks like. Batteries running out too quick, eye tracking off by a degree or two. Typical stuff? As cliched as it sounds, 99% of these things get fixed once they turn auto updates back on. So no killer robots getting filed away under bug reports. Distribution patterns. How and where are they being sold? What's the distribution pattern look like? They're distributed like you'd expect. Places where there are more people, there are more androids. Coastal cities like ours, of course, have the most of both. And since the A16 in particular is marketed as being relatively luxury, relatively consumer, they don't sell well outside population centers. They can do the rural, hard labor jobs, but cold models can do the same work with a lot less maintenance. Exactly what I was saying. They are fucking the androids. They are not using them for labor and jobs. They're fucking them. Otherwise, they would just have cold androids. So where has the A16 outperformed then? Customer service, healthcare, childcare, lots of hospitals, offices, and, you know, adult industries. Oh. Sorry, didn't mean to be blunt, No, it makes sense. They're warm and soft to the touch and obedient. Oh, fuck. That is so... Oh, God, that's so fucking weird. I'm just surprised to hear it from a company employee. There are a lot of people at the company who won't talk about it. But I work in quality assurance. I've seen too many damages to pretend it's not happening. Damages. What do we call it when a customer tries to return a product that's clearly broken beyond repair? Oh. Very high turnover in the pink market. Oh my God! Oh, that is so fucked up! Wait a minute. So they're doing porn with these androids, and they're doing a type of pornography that is damaging the androids to the point that they are being sent back in an irreparable state. That is so fucking disturbing. That is so unbelievably disturbing. That is disgusting. Holy fucking shit. Hasn't stopped you from selling to them. Well, we don't sell them to them, not directly, but there are resellers, and the company's never pretended to be interested in going after them. Are there resellers? I thought I read that rights to repair got shut down again. There's been a gray market for softer androids for years, or decades, depending upon your definition of android. Based on sales numbers I've seen, our RTR getting canned was barely a blip on their radar. Wow. Sorry, didn't mean to make you uncomfortable with this topic. Huh? Me? No, I don't care. I just realized my left socks on inside out. Damn, now I'm wondering about that myself. He bought that? Shipping. This floor is basically a showroom, but you have a real factory all while south of the city limits, correct? Yeah, biggest company manufacturing complex in the hemisphere. Got any data on the shipping out of there? Anything stand out? There's some prep work for the holiday bump, looks like. Might sound early to get started now, but we usually see... Something wrong? No, the numbers are all normal, but the data has been edited. Is that unusual? Well, this section's just a count of how many were sent where. There's not a lot of room for errors, so there shouldn't be much need for corrections. It's no problem, though. I can view the edit history and see what was fixed. Okay, that's weird. Was something added? Deleted? No, the overall sum's the same. It's just a bunch of swaps. Like here, 29FFCE-010311 taken out, returned for adjustments. 27FCDD-1 019634 substituted in shipment leaves on time. 67BBTC-8995343 returned to assembly for revisions, replaced by 67 BBTD 592698 shipment leaves on time. So does all that strike you as odd, Mr. Dawes? Replacements before shipping isn't uncommon, but when it happens by the batch load. To spot individual unit imperfections among a shipment at that stage in the process, it must have been someone with a lot of experience or authority, probably both. Could have been Zhang, could have been David. Could have been some unknown executive that we know nothing about. Must have? You don't know who made these changes? I can tell you they were somebody important. Small last-minute changes to which androids got shipped out. Not very juicy on its own, but it's a long ways away from explaining why someone would... And it's a long ways away from explaining why someone would want to kill David. But it was hidden, and that means someone didn't want it to be found. Okay, thanks for sharing that data. Sure, did you find what you were looking for? Hell if I know! Fair enough. Tenants. I know you're convinced the tenants are safe. So how did you square that with what happened to David? There's a cat next to a dog. First answer that comes to mind. Is the dog to the left or to the right? I'd say the dog is on the left, the cat is on the right. You might expect half of people to say left, half to say right. But actually, their answer is almost entirely dependent on their native tongue. Whether it's read right to left or left to right. Oh. Oh, I see. So people hear the question, and then they assign, and then in their native tongue they assign they have an inherent bias, where because they heard the question in a certain order of operations, they then subconsciously substitute that as their guess, their quote-unquote guess, without even knowing that they're technically biased based on their language. That's cool. The language they speak affects how they process information. Their language affects how they think, and it's the same for machines. People can learn new languages, and it can change our perspective, but machines can't learn a new source code. Every update's a reincarnation. If that android did kill David, it wasn't because a 0 returned as a 1 somewhere. It's because there's something fundamentally wrong with it. And personally, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. I mean, yeah, it's sort of the same reasoning as you shouldn't have children if you can't take care of the children, you know? Yeah. Unnecessarily cruel. Any other questions before I go find a hole to hide my head in? I'd like you to take a look at this. Chemistry's a little out of my purview. What is this? A compound found in David Asher's blood. The poison? What is it? It didn't match any database the medical examiner had access to. That's crazy. Here's a crazy idea to follow it up. See if it's a match for anything in Noble's internal databanks. We, don't make poison here. I'm not sure what that would accomplish. No, but this is a factory floor. You could be making baby blankets out there. You'd still have hazardous materials around. You could be making baby blankets out there. You'd still have hazardous materials around. You think it was something industrial? Suppose it could be. Looks like it's carbon-based, narrows it down a lot. It's not exactly... What is it? It doesn't make any sense. but it's a match for patent NOD 52345-S. A synthetic-produced neurotransmitter analog for usage in organic android components. It's the nanotransmitter fluid. Oh god, so it's like android spinal fluid? What the fuck? What the fuck? Ugh. Synatonin. So now we know what this fucking drug is. A substance found in the bloodstream of David Asher. Has many similarities to the chemical makeup of a depressant. Produced by Noble Electronics as a patent-protected synthetic neurotransmitter, a key ingredient in every warm android they manufacture. How did we not figure this out sooner, I wonder? I guess because... Oh, right, it's a patent, so they're not required to share that with the public, I guess? Synatonin. That explains a lot. A neurotransmitter would interact directly with the nervous system, in David's case, depressing it enough to put his life in danger. It also explains why it was present in his personal nanofactorer. Sarah's nervous system, worth 10 times its weight in platinum, must be pumped full of it. Do they think it was what killed him? So they think that was what killed him? Helen Zheng led the development of synatonin, didn't she? Oh fuck, did Zheng do this? No. Ah, yes, she did. I should go and ask her about its composition then. Normally, someone at her level wouldn't be able to answer specific questions about a compound formulated years ago, but she does have a reputation for being a very detail-oriented person. That works out nicely then. They say she's the type of person to micromanage how much water people drink at a 15-minute stand-up. I heard a rumor that she once said bathroom breaks are timesheet theft. Wow. Aren't they? I'm kidding, but you should be careful about criticizing a superior where people could be listening. Good thing we got privacy in your office. Uh-huh, no one but the two of us listening in. Thanks for cooperating, Dawes. When the state storms the building and starts zip-tying people, I'll let them know that you were helpful. Ha! Yeah, nice joke. Ha ha ha. You are joking, right? One more thing. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to ask you. What's that? How long have you been a corporate spy? What? Yesterday, you let it slip that you worked in consulting. Had your guard down because I'm not part of the industry? I was a consultant. What are you talking about? When I walked in here, you said you didn't know how David died. But just now, you called synatonin a poison. What? I just assumed if a chemical was found in a dead man, and I'm sure you've got practiced answers to every logical point I could raise, so I'll just say this. Does the nervous guy bit really work on people? Keep your cool and people don't know what you're thinking. But if you act a little jumpy, they feel inclined to calm you down. Before they know it, they're spilling their guts just to have something to fill the silence with. Though it's not entirely an act these days. To answer your question, I did 3 tours in consulting. 4 quarters of internal affairs, spy hunting at the Western Division. Okay, so just because he's corporate espionage doesn't mean he's a spy from another company. He could just be a spy, he could just be counter-espionage that works for Noble. Four quarters of internal affairs, spy hunting at the Western Division, then 8 embedded at Howe Industries. Okay, so he was sent by Noble to Howe Industries to actually be a spy. Okay. 24 months wearing different faces, answering to different names, sleeping for 1 hour at a time with a 3D printed shiv under my pillow. My nerves are completely shot. My cover wouldn't last a day if I went back under. So you're a spy for Noble. Retired. You're working 6 days a week. 5.5 days a week and in quality assurance. Trust me, this position is a cushy, generous reward for my past services. Well, you can't be that retired. You clearly know more than you're letting on. I have some old inboxes I still check. So can you tell me what the hell is happening around here? Why I'm the one investigating David's death while your old coworkers are off twiddling their thumbs? It's that story. The soldier, the blood transfusion. Blood, not oxidant. He's finally shooting straight. Did something happen to him afterwards? Did the transfusion not last? No, there's nothing wrong with the blood. It's the story itself. There was a soldier and he did get injured, but it was on a base during a training exercise. There was a medical tent 10 meters away the whole time. The transfusion was just a fortuitous live test. His life was never in any danger. Doesn't make much for a tearjerker. Not even a good photo op, which our competitors understood. One of them, maybe a few of them, got a hold of the story, started puffing it up, astroturfing, painting over socials and virals. By the next morning, we had the military thinking they're leaking like a sieve. Meanwhile, the media is bombarding us with requests for videos and interviews and data, and the state's praising our tech with one side of their mouth while threatening to mist us with the other for getting so greedy. Wow, this company is fucked. This company is completely fucked. They are so completely and utterly fucked. Which they kind of deserve, because all the corpos in this universe are really, really evil, but holy fuck. Or should I say, the Megs. Everyone in Noble CCE has been slammed ever since tried to find an off-ramp for the story we can walk. Back the claims on without torpedoing our state contracts. I don't know what happened to Asher, whether it was AI gone rogue or company infighting gone too far, but oh, Neck Deep in Consulting, Episode 1, uncover the power plays at work inside Noble Electronics. Cool. But I can tell you it wasn't done by consultants. That all you wanted to know? Psychiatrist. You worked in CCE. Was David actually seeing a psychiatrist, or was it all cloak and dagger bullshit? I know that office. Know some old co-workers who see them. So it's a front? They do both. I really like how a lot of his answers are, you're right, but it's still not as crazy as you think. So he was probably getting training, and he was probably talking to someone. Sorry, not the answer you were hoping for? Hoping? I wasn't hoping for any answer. The answer I expected was... You okay? That's all. Unless you've got any advice. You're saying you want a consultation? Couldn't hurt, right? This company, all these companies, hate to lose. So don't fight them. Make them think you're fighting for them. Well, that's just business as usual for me. This game is so good. It's so fucking good. I'm gonna lean back forward. No! Sound. There we go. Up until now, there's been a grating ambiguity about what actually killed David. We've had to use guesses and process of elimination and even a goddamn pseudonym, but I finally identified what the poison was. Now I just need to figure out how it got there. Or rather, who put it there. Which brings me back to here. An elevator shaft somewhere under or above ground with kilometers of concrete, facelessness, and bureaucratic authority surrounding me on all sides. An enemy in every cubicle, in every office of every floor of this temple. Built to interpret and the inscrutable divinations of a temperamental oracle named Share Price. Back in the belly of the beast. And yet I feel more at ease now than I have all weekend. Makes sense. Now that I know Noble's my enemy, I know where to aim. All that's left to do is pull the trigger. Good thing I didn't bring a knife to this fight. I brought my gun. And that sound just now tells me that it's playing its role perfectly. I'll never have a real use for a firearm with this much bloatware, but just by carrying it around and paying attention to when the hard safety flips on, I'll always get a heads up when the police have entered the vicinity. Interesting. Hi, Detective Reyes, it's Morgan. Happened to get your contact info when you got me cleared for the crime scene yesterday. Delete contact. Block this contact. Stop voice to text. How to stop voice to text. Just wanted to check in. Report this contact voice to text disable. And advise you that Noble's scared shitless of you stomping in and nationalizing the place. So they might be a little uncooperative when it comes to fetching documents. Block this contact. What makes you think we are at Noble? My bad then. Forget I said anything. And whatever you do, don't start your investigation with their stock buyback program. Trying to reserve psychology, it only works if I care what you think. Stop voice to text. Trying reverse psychology, it only works if I care what you think. That was fucking hysterical. About time. Thought I'd have to ride the elevator for the next half hour. Morgan, counselor, your presence has been requested on the upper floors. Deja vu. Deja vu. I've never been in this place before. Higher on the streets. All right. Might you have a moment to speak in private? Always, but who's asking? The board. What are the chances? I've been wanting to speak to them too. 1:40 p.m. July 2nd. Noble Electronics, Northeastern HQ. Conference Room 108A. Yep, I knew it would be at least Zhang here. If not another slurry of other characters that are going to be new characters. Evangeline Morgan. Helen Zhang. Thank you for making time in your schedule. Her posture, her tone, the fold of her clothes, professional, dialed up to 11. Corporate armor, a full set. Her guard is up. Just Morgan is fine. You're just a few minutes early, Morgan. Typical corporate never be the first one to show up, pissing contest nonsense. It doesn't even make sense. They called me in here. How could I possibly be early? Play their game. Flip their script. No, we want to play their game. We want to play their game because what, like, Dawes basically explained to us, convince them that you're trying to fight for them. So we're gonna play their game. Pardon me in that case. 1,000 apologies, you voyeuristic rat-racing hollowheads, but I'm immune to your corporate posturing. If anything, knowing that you're all watching me right now pretending to be busy with something else, just makes your cowardice that much more apparent. So who exactly will be joining us? You don't have time to remember their names, and it won't do you much good either. Right, so they're not just rich, they're anonymous rich. The Mob Act. What is this? Showing results for Protection of Reasonable Anonymity Act. The Protection of Reasonable Anonymity Act is a law passed in 2059 and amended in 2061, intended to protect the safety of individuals with income above the 99th percentile of the nation. Labeled in the press as the Mob Act for its supposed goal of hindering mob justice, the PRAA establishes procedures and funding for technology that helps individuals within that particular tax bracket keep their name, face, and address off of the main net, ensuring that they and their families are not prejudiced against just because of their financial status. Wow, fuck you. Oh yeah, who would have thought the poor might be angry at you and now you have to hide from the internet, you fuckwit, you piece of shit. Where's Luigi when we need him? Oh no! Economic uncertainty and civil unrest in the late 2050s led to a series of highly publicized crimes wherein corporate executives at a number of high-profile companies were stalked, harassed, and assaulted in net-organized flash lynchings. After a particularly chaotic attack that resulted in the hospitalization of a 14-year-old, the PRAA was proposed, debated, and signed into law into just under 11 hours. Wow. Jesus. I guess we had a lot of Luigis. A flash lynching case has not gone to trial since 2062, but the PRAA continues to protect citizens to this day. Some economists have pointed to the PRAA and its promise of anonymity as to why the nation has enjoyed a relative resurgence in the corporate immigration over the last few decades, but the purposefully obscured nature of the law's implementation have made the task of weighing its true economic impact effectively impossible. The Mob Act guarantees a minimum level of security and peace of mind for any citizen who might be targeted due to their financial status. Spoken like a true believer. Except Mob Act is what normal people call it. Touting the party line but allowing yourself one instance of rebellion, or just a slip of the tongue. I would never fault anyone for wanting their privacy, especially not job creators. But it must get pretty inconvenient not having a name to call them. Not really. Conversations with them are always one-sided. Sounds like a great environment to do business in. Look at the building you're standing in. We managed to eke out a meager profit somehow. So if it works, didn't take you for the might makes right type. And I didn't take you for a clueless bore incapable of reading the room. Oh, sorry, did I say something off color? I was only being casual since it's just the two of us here. Maybe we should take advantage of this rare bit of privacy, clear the air. You're here to ask about Sarah, yes? As I said before, I had no idea that Dr. Asher had been building an android on his private property. And I can say here and now, that no one at Noble Electronics has ever suspected that he was working to undermine the Tenet framework. She's trying to sound candid in her tone, but she's choosing her words with a surgeon's scalpel. Was she coached? Is that the truth, or is that your statement as VP of Android Futures? It's both, of course. Dr. Asher was always more than happy to hold himself up and work independently. We both know that. True, he could be pretty reclusive. I'm sure it's caused all kinds of headaches, him disappearing on you all like that. Wow. Must have been especially difficult when he came back with breakthroughs that propelled Noble to the top of the industry. You should take a seat. Chris Hansen walks in. If that's everyone, shall we begin? Friendly bunch. Is there a problem with the sound? Anyone get muted by accident? No. Okay. Thanks for having me. I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm actually a bit flustered having you all show up here. I didn't expect to talk to anyone higher up than a service associate. You're investigating the death of Dr. David Asher. Why wouldn't we take that seriously? Because you want me to go away. What the fuck, Morgan? You're just... Wow, Morgan is just guns blazing right here. What the fuck? At least half of you do. The others aren't sure yet. You must be confused. The board is, and always, united in its decisions and its visions for the direction of this company. Uh-huh. A board of directors is just 13 roulette-rolling psychopaths who get together and vote on whether or not to execute their CEO every 6 months. None of them would be where they are if they were anything else. But I happen to know how that kind of person thinks, because she is one. The way I see it, there are two possible outcomes. Option 1, you oppose me, shut me out completely, stonewall me, stall me, and wait for me to talk, to walk into trial so unprepared and ill-informed that I inevitably lose. Obviously, I don't like this option. But you can't be a big fan of it either. If I lose, the world will learn that David Asher was killed by an android he programmed. Then every customer you've ever had and every lawyer they've ever seen on TV and every firebrand, strapping, young, 60-year-old junior senator looking to make a name for themselves will use your company balance sheet as their personal chew toy. The company is more than capable of, after which the state still might just gobble you whole and throw down enough sanctions to deperson whomever among you cries no fair. Oof. They ain't talking back. The company and its allies at the Capitol can more than fend for themselves. Yes, probably, but not definitely. Which makes it a gamble. Still my turn to talk? Then on to option 2. You cooperate with me. I use what you give me, or forge for me, to win at trial, proving that David wasn't killed by an android. When the markets open tomorrow morning, you all get another round of stock buybacks on the initial dip. Then pat yourselves on the back for staying calm as you continue to profit off David's legacy for the next 100 years. And you won't even have to worry about him speaking out of turn. Wow. That's only if you win. If the company cooperates with you, denies that David was killed by, and the state beats you anyway, it would be catastrophic. Yeah, it's a gamble. But if at least some of your board wasn't considering taking it, I wouldn't be here. Oh, this is fucking awesome. We're all busy people, and I'd hate to drive a wedge between such a close-knit group of friends, so how about this? Option 3, hedge your bets. What? Put a little on black, put a little on red. Spread the love and lower your risk profile. Don't make any statements about the trial. Tell the media the state's got your windpipe in a vice. Wait until just before the markets open Monday morning to send out your PR packages for rubber stamping. After you already know who's won. One way or another, this trial will be over before the end of the day, and you'll never hear from me again. So just don't shut me out completely for another few hours. Whew. Whew, 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 whew. And does anyone second that motion? Very well. We can answer some of your questions, counselor. Better make them count then, no reason to be shy now. All right, let's save. I don't want to quit yet. I want to go a little bit more overtime. But holy fuck, this is so cool. The poison that killed David Asher has been identified as serotonin. You're familiar? It's one of our many patented materials, as I recall. You recalled it pretty easily yesterday. Gee, what's changed? But intellectual property law can be very complex, counselor. I'm not sure how much I or anyone at the company could tell you about serotonin at this time. Well, if you can't tell me about it, who could? You did lead its development, didn't you? Yes, I oversaw the project, which just makes it that much harder to speak freely without compromising the confidentiality of the terms that reported to me, of the teams that reported to me. I understand. That sounds like bullshit and I don't believe it. But I'm not asking for trade secrets here. It's a perfect match for the only foreign substance found in his body. Serotonin is what killed him. The state will say the same. That's not possible. Care to elaborate? I'm sorry, but I can't say any more at this time. So much for cooperating. And if I were to ask you as an officer of the court, then I would ask you to be patient and wait until this afternoon. ADA Rockford has already called me to testify. Already? Damn it! I got cocky because of the cops' late arrival. Emma must have gone straight for the throat first thing this morning and left the investigating for later. Hell, knowing her, she probably managed to ID the serotonin before she went to bed last night. So were we still having this conversation then? As I said, I'm sorry, but I have to take more than just my personal feelings into consideration here. There's a great deal at stake. Corporate speak for you're too stupid to understand why I'm being dense. She's just trying to shield the company, plain and simple. LARPing is Helen Jean d'Arc on a crusade against government overreach. But if she's that busy defending nobles, she might be leaving herself unguarded. Why is she here anyway? Why am I speaking to her and not her lawyers? That's right. This is a vulnerable position for her. She wouldn't put herself in check like this, not unless she was forced to. Aha! We're playing blackjack. Okay. So that's it. Acting as their mouthpiece isn't some honor for her. This is punishment. She's being used as a meat shield. They're upset with her, perhaps even suspicious of her. Time to find out why. Jealousy. Let's save again. Man, I'm gonna get fucked so bad. I'm gonna do so bad at this. Jealousy. Why did David fuck all those other women and men but not me? This is bullshit. I'm gonna be a crybaby, even though I'm like a 41-year-old woman or some shit, whatever her age is. Has David's will been located? It has never gone anywhere. It's still in a safety deposit box. We'll retrieve it and have it read once all the unknowns surrounding his death have been made into knowns. So David's will hasn't even become part of the equation yet. It might not be for weeks at this rate. Is that calculated, though? Aren't you dragging your feet? Press. Aren't you dragging your feet? Afraid that there's something in the will you'd rather not have see the light of day? We are not jealous in-laws who've been bribing the county sheriff counselor. Fuck! I busted! No! Anything we try to claim would inevitably be overturned as soon as the will is read. Surely you understand that, counselor. Of course. Okay, I fucked that one up. Oh well. Sarah. Whatever else the court ends up labeling her, Sarah is a remarkably lifelike android. Had things worked out differently, you might have wanted her as the A16 poster girl. Or A17, or 18. Could have driven a lot of sales, her cute little pout projected across the sides of skyscrapers. A hypothetical of a hypothetical. As has been made tragically obvious to us all, that android is nothing like the A16. That it may yet be associated with our products going forward is nothing more than a massive liability. Yet you wouldn't have the A16 without her. And if they could take her apart and learn from her, they could have the world. So was the motive to try and pry Sarah away from him? Jealousy. I have to admit I'm surprised you aren't more shaken up today, Miss Young. I'm processing. After all, you and David did have a history. You started at the same time, didn't you? Yes, we were colleagues and cordial with one another. Just colleagues? Don't be so modest. You helped him create the one-point doctrine that saved the company. That is a gross exaggeration. Noble is far too large an organization to be affected by the contributions of any single individual. Suppose you're right. No one could change Noble's fortunes overnight. Except for David Asher, of course. But he was a once-in-a-generation talent. The guy Noble chose for the advertisements and the one they commissioned editorials about. Sorry, you're right. I shouldn't have equated the two of you. I just hope his one-point doctrine doesn't fall out of favor now that he's gone. Yes, well, we certainly wouldn't want that. Well, she didn't exactly explode with rage, but she definitely reacted. There's real jealousy there, whether it ever boiled over, though? Maybe we save over here. Stay. Right. David and Noble. I didn't mean to pry about your relationship with David or lack thereof. I suppose I'm just curious about his standing inside Noble as a whole. David Asher was, and always will be, an outstanding contributor to the company's forward progress. Nothing will ever change that. Not even if he was killed by one of his own creations? That would, of course, be a tragic element that would call for reconsideration of his legacy. She was almost off guard there, like she was surprised for me to be asking about Sarah ruining his reputation. Did David ever anger the board? Besides Sarah, David's reputation was crystal clean. He never went against the company once. Did he? That's... Unless I'm mistaken, he and Noble were on bad terms. In that case, I might get the impression that some parts of leadership were actually glad to see him taken off the chessboard. That is not... something buzzing in your ear? Fine, I suppose it makes no difference if you hear it now or at the trial or on your feed tomorrow. Dr. David Asher was being sued by the company for breach of contract. Satisfied? Now we're talking. Well then, I suppose that's... blackjack. So you couldn't have mentioned this breach of contract earlier? Not without complicating the company's position unnecessarily, no. But there's no hiding it at this point, it'll all come out soon enough. There's a paper trail. Much more than that, we've been making moves to let him go for some time. Noble Electronics parting ways with David Asher? Must have been one hell of a breach of contract. What did he do? He betrayed the confidence of the board. Was he contesting the suit, putting up a fight? Engaging in a legal battle against a mega corporation without even telling me? Until recently, yes. You mean until he died? How recently? We spoke on Friday. That was what you two talked about in his parlor? No, this was earlier in the day. We were in this room, actually. Him, me, and several members of our legal department. It was an arbitration. And did you come to an agreement? A compromise. He would resign from his position in 2 quarters, foregoing royalties on any products we would develop after the next 24 months. In exchange, he wouldn't be publicly fired, and he would still be credited on all past, present, and future filings. Huh. So they were gonna let him go in quiet, but make sure that he is named as he's still famous and the credited person for the Android industry. Okay, all right. How very reasonable. On paper, maybe. No matter what the deal was, letting go of David Asher is insanity. Reasonable? Yes. We ended on a good note, I'd like to think. We shook hands, even took a photo. Aww. Oh, man. Man, what a cute dude. No wonder all the cocks and pussies just magnetized to him. He's such an ambush. Holy shit. Yeah, this looks threatening, actually. There's so many people here. Oh, God. Yeah, that looks lovely. Something funny? Didn't know the board told jokes. They don't. That was legal, expressing their displeasure with how much paperwork my good note ending left them stuck with. Children, it was just one night of overtime. So while they were spending their Friday night blowing the ink dry, you paid a visit to David's penthouse. Something left unfinished? Professionally, it was a good meeting. There was no yelling, no finger pointing, much cleaner than expected. But Dr. Asher did not want to retire. Okay, what does arbitration technically mean here? Met with Helen Jung on a team of noble lawyers, set the term resignation and that before he died. The meeting controlled every aspect of the refreshments to the timing. In line with coworkers' descriptions of her detailed, oriented personality. Dr. Asher did not want to retire. He didn't want to be forced out of the company when he was the one who... when he contributed so much. I didn't enjoy doing that to him, so I came over that night to apologize to him. Oh, was she gonna confess her feelings for him as well? We talked, reminisced. When he brought out the drinks, I thought we'd be toasting to a new day. A few minutes later, he was dead. Because of that AI. That AI? Any idea how it came to be? As I said, I had no idea he was working on it. My question was more broad than that. If you really believe David built an AI, how do you think he did it? How does Noble Electronics think he managed to work around the tenets? It's quite beyond my area of expertise, and no one at the company could call themselves an expert in illegal technology. But some of the R&D department have theorized that he created what they call a wax-wane decaying priority loop, which, as I understand, is an unstable, resource-intensive theoretical method for pseudo-randomizing the weight amongst preset tenets. Well, about as far off target as it gets with that guess. That kind of inelegant brute force nonsense seems a far cry from the kind of thing David would create, and I seem to have taken us over our allotted time slot. But I didn't even get to wave goodbye. You're serious about this trial? Don't I look it? You're not just making a play, you're actually going to defend that thing? I'm just defending myself, Miss Jung. Oh, yes, of course you are. My mistake. I hoped you might be rooting for me, to tell you the truth. I may yet save everyone's stock options. The stock options will be alright either way. They always are. That gamble I offered your board, which outcome would you bet on? Finally, an easy question. What I would bet on is that whatever the outcome, the company will eat it up and shit it out with very little difficulty. Wow. You painted an ugly picture back there, but I've already seen the future. And it's just another marketing gimmick. The great Dr. Asher, too smart, too bold, too far ahead of his time. What spark of his genius remains buried in the inspired animate 19? I guess that depends on... You were exactly right. He is more valuable to Noble as a dead man. Oh. God, that fucking... Dead men can't step out of line, or put their foot in their mouth, or hold politically inconvenient opinions. To a good salesperson, a dead man is just another selling point. Pardon my outburst. I'm just tired. It's been a very long week for me. I'll let you prepare for your afternoon then, Dr. Zhang. No one calls me doctor. I ask them not to. You didn't want the title? At times, I have thought very little of it. The PhD I earned from a Noble-owned school. Biochemistry, it could have been a large department at Noble before they started to work on warm androids in earnest. They probably didn't have many expectations for the program back when she was part of it. But I was proud of it when I first got it. Something change? It never seemed to catch on. People didn't use it, so eventually I told people not to use it. A very high IQ social power play, you understand. David never insisted that people use it either. That's very different, and I think you know it. David Asher didn't have to. All right, well. All right, everyone. That is gonna be it for tonight. Thank you all very much for joining me here. I really appreciate you coming here to hang out with me. We will be back in 4 days, Wednesday if you live in the United States, and we'll be playing a chill stream, probably Door for Romantic again. But then, next Friday, next Saturday, we will be back at it with this game, and this game is getting fucking crazy. It is ramping so fucking hard. That journal entry, or the journal entry and the voice message that David had for Morgan is probably the best scene in this entire game. It is so fucking mind-blowing. And I love it so much, and I hope you all do as well. If you happen to be new here and you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, if you think I deserve a follow, I'd appreciate that quite a bit. We stream 3 times a week for approximately 2 hours. And this stream will be re-uploaded to YouTube tomorrow night, where we'll join every single stream I've ever done. So if there are any you want to catch up on, you can find all of them there. Link is in the About section. And yeah, wow. Holy moly. This game is getting fucking crazy. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I have not really found a single flaw in the writing so far. Everything is perfectly dystopian. All the characters are acting in ways that make sense to me for how fucked up everything is. And Jesus Christ, if this is not fucking incredible. It's too bad that the perfect bisexual femboy was massacred in order for this entire story to take place, but, you know, oh well. Fun time. I hope you all have been having a good time as well. And also, it is very, very fucking late, so I should get out of here. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your support in every capacity. I hope you have a good afternoon, evening, morning, etc. And I will see you all again soon with a chill stream, but then of the devil. Ciao.